Hey everybody, welcome to the Player Take. This is episode 173. It's your host Montrell, and I am missing my co-host Justin because he's on vacation. You might have heard the Xbox beep. I didn't know it was that loud, but I'm not going to cut it out because we're going to continue on anyway. So we post at 6 a.m. on Fridays on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google, and your favorite podcast app of choice. And you can send us questions at theplayerstake at gmail.com or playerstake01 at gmail.com. So we're gonna start for what I've been playing. So this week I have been super busy, yo, like really dummy busy. Obviously, since Justin is on vacation, I really don't have my gaming partner, and everyone else has been super busy this week. So I haven't really been playing too much this week. I just been playing a little bit of League of Legends, unfortunately. Uh, getting cancer off that. Um, and I don't have any complaints with it right now. They buff my character, so of course I'm happy right now until they nerf him to the ground. Um, but yeah, I'm just having fun playing norms. I don't think I'm gonna jump into rank anytime soon. Like I said, it's just a lot on my plate, and ranked is very, very, very stressful. Same with Apex. For the last couple of days, actually, my group chat for Apex has been like really quiet. They wanted to get on last night because one of my other buddies got back from vacation, and he's been trying to play. I think they got on last night, but I didn't. I was just way too tired. This week has been super super crazy for me. I had to do two job sites in the same day, and I also had to break down a job site and everything like that. So it's been pretty crazy. I had to drive all the way out to Henrietta, Texas, to swap out a router there, and so we were switching from like an old system to like the new Cisco systems, and it's easier. I already set it up. That wasn't the issue. The issue was we went to a lunch. Went to lunch, and this is Henrietta, Texas. So this is like 2 hours outside, 2 hours north of Dallas, and I knew I was in for trouble, or not. I didn't get any trouble, but it was just crazy because in the town of Henrietta, there was like a Confederate flag. And we walked into this restaurant, and it was like two of my coworkers are Latino, and then my manager and then the superintendent we were with, they're white. So, they're like, oh, you should check out this, check out that. And so we walked in like 30 seconds after my superintendent and my manager walked in. And as soon as we walked in, it was me and the two Latino guys, and my two coworkers were, like I said, are Latino. And the waitress looked at us and was like, "Oh, what are you guys doing here? Are you guys with them?" And we're like, "That's a strange thing to ask." Yes, we are with them. So after that, she kind of like calmed down and stuff. I just thought it was really funny. And then when I tell you, the place wasn't that big. It was only like maybe 6 or 7 tables around, and then the kitchen in the back, and then there was a bar in the back as well. I didn't want to go to the bar in the back. My manager kept insisting on us going to the bar in the back. I didn't want to. I was like, I'm good. I'm staying right where I'm at. And I did. But I just thought it was super funny about that. And when I say the place was quiet, it was people in there, but it was so quiet. Like everyone got super quiet when we walked in. It was just really awkward. It didn't stop me from eating. The food was still good, good as fuck. So I ate the food. We ate the food. We talked for about an hour. Obviously, we didn't feel any type of way, even though it was kind of awkward. And then we left. So that was my week. It was pretty funny. Um, but overall, yeah, it was pretty cool. But yeah, getting back to the games, I haven't played Monster Hunter Rise, at all. It's on my list, but I haven't played it at all. But the only two games I have been playing is League of Legends and Apex. And to be honest, I haven't played Apex this week. I only been playing League of Legends because that's what time allotted me to play at least 3 hours, and then I'm falling asleep. I'm an old head gamer, y'all. Like, what y'all think, man? Like, I think we need to talk about that, man. Like, old head gamers, we need to talk about it. It needs to be a thing, you know. Gamers, I don't know, man. Like, since since I turned 33, uh I think we're the first generation of old head gamers. Like, I know they're like, oh, back in the day, back in my day, I was playing Pong. Like, they're gamers, yes, but like and like they're the original gamers, the people who were in the arcades in the 80s and stuff like that. But like they haven't, like a lot of those people I knew grew up playing those games. They don't even play video games anymore. Like they legitimately stopped playing video games. And I hope to never get to that point where I just never stop playing video games at all. But and some of them didn't. I just think it was the hip thing at the time, and a lot of people were doing it. Uh, Kind of like, when escape rooms came out, everyone was going to escape rooms and shit like that. And like when roller skating was popular way back in the day, everybody was going roller skating and stuff. And now you hardly see that anymore. Um, I think it was the same with gaming in the 80s and the 70s. That's why I don't want to sound like a gatekeeper, but it's kind of hard to classify those as the original gamers. Like I consider like the 90s kids and like the late 80s kids like the original first wave of gamers, because we had home consoles. Like we had the NES, the Genesis. Um, you can say the Atari, but the Atari wasn't. Yeah, and you can count the Atari. I count the Atari too. We had all those consoles and stuff like that, and we became what gaming is today. So I don't know. It's just really interesting me growing up, and this Summer Fest, which is in the news today. I'm gonna talk about that because uh, I don't know. It just seems like people don't really know what a good game is anymore. Yeah, that sounds really dumb, but and it sounds very like I don't know if it's narcissistic of me or whatever the case may be. But I think a lot of people will agree, like, people don't know what a good game is anymore. And I don't want to sound like, one of those people that are like, back in my day when we played basketball, we had to hit each other. Now everybody just going to the rim, shooting threes and stuff like that. Like it's not like that. I actually like a lot of games that are coming out, a lot of newer games that are coming out. The thing is, I am tired of the remakes and the remasters and all that shit like that. I know like it was cool at first and I was all for it at first, but now I'm just fucking tired of it. I am actually on the wave of we need new shit, and like that's weird coming from like a old head or whatever. Because like old heads in general, OGs and old heads and old people and like just people getting older, they're afraid of change. Whereas I want more change. I want the industry to evolve even more. I was even like this with VR. I'm still skeptical about VR. I still think it's a huge gimmick until we can do more with it, which people are gradually, the technology is gradually growing. And I'm glad like they didn't let a skeptic like me stop the industry. Um, I just think it needs to be a little bit more accessible to people. And once it becomes more accessible, then that would be, a thing. But until then, like it's just like uh I still think it's like one of those early gimmicks that needs to be kind of like, kind of groomed into what it needs to be today. But unfortunately, like I said, it's just not there yet. And once it gets there, then I think we'll be at a good part. For just for just for VR gaming in general. I do see the potential. I just don't see it right now, if that makes any sense. I don't see the vision right now. A lot of other people see the vision, but I don't see the vision right now. Um, but I say that because in the summer fest this day, I'm not going to go in order about which stuff was revealed and everything of that nature. I'm just going to go like what interested me and things of that nature. But I will mention all the stuff that was mentioned at the Summerfest. Jeff Keighley's Summerfest was this year. I think it was the first one, um, or it may have been the second one. I'm not sure. Um, oh, actually, I think it started in 2020, um, or whatever. I think. Hmm, I'm not sure. But it did start, and it started off okay. It started off showing Guile from Street Fighter. It showed some gameplay for Guile and everything of that nature. It did show another cool game for Street called Aliens Dark Descent. And every Aliens game I that comes out, I get very scared because of Aliens Colonial War. Uh or Colonial Marines or whatever, because that was so terrible. But this one, it looks like it's a top down game, isometric. It looks really fucking cool, to be honest with you. I might give it a shot. Um, it doesn't look like it looks like a twin stick shooter, but I don't think it is a necessarily a twin stick shooter per se. So I don't know. I think that should you guys should give it a shot or give it a look at and look see if you like it. Um, but I think this is actually where the franchise needs to go so that it can, build up an audience. Start with something low budget and then move up to something more higher budget. Um, Even though I think Isolation is vastly underrated. A lot of people should play that game. If you like scary games, but you don't like all the demons and all that bullshit like that, I think Alien Isolation is a perfect sci-fi horror game that you should play. It's really cool. So the next game they showed off was Callisto Protocol, and this is from the creators of some of the original creators of Dead Space. It's sort of like a spiritual successor to them. I'm tired of everybody calling it a Dead Space clone. I guess it is a Dead Space clone, uh, but we all know what happened to Dead Space 3. And then I'm very interested to see what the Dead Space remake is going to be like. Um, Here we go with the remakes, though. I guess Dead Space does deserve a remake, but I would rather them just make a new Dead Space or don't make it at all. Just make these guys make Callisto Protocol. But we have seen spiritual successors in the past fail. Um, Everybody remembers Mighty Number Nine. We all were like, "Oh my god, new Mega Man's back, Mega Man's back," and it was all like a farce. Like that shit was trash. I bought the game. I was a part of the Kickstarter. I think I put like $200 in the fucking Kickstarter. I got like the collectibles and all that bullshit, and I regret that shit to this fucking day. I don't even play that. That shit's not even installed on my fucking Xbox. I fucking hate that game. The game had potential, but it was clearly a cash grab. It was clearly a fucking cash grab. Um, and yeah, like, and that's why to this day now I'm very skeptical of spiritual successors because of that shit. There was another spiritual successor that didn't take off too well as well. I can't think of off the top of my head, but I mean there were a couple that were like really bad, and I'm pretty sure like if Justin was here, he can mention some more or whatever. But spiritual successors are hit or miss. Sometimes you can definitely tell when the money is behind a team, or when the team didn't have the money or the talent in the first place, and they just hit a lucky gold mine or something like that. But Callisto Protocol doesn't look like that so far. It looks really good. It looks like they have a good backing from Bluehole, I believe it is. Blue Loop or Bluehole, the people who own PUBG and things of that nature. So that game has a lot of money. That those people have a lot of money and things of that nature. So um, I was still I still wanted it to be a part of the PUBG universe. That would have been really fucking cool. But I think they went back on that. Um, so I am kind of disappointed in that, but it is what it is. So the next game they showed was Modern Warfare 2. Um, so I watched Modern Warfare 2, the trailer, and once again, another fucking remake. And I understand this is a remake for the newer generation. It is 2022. I think Modern Warfare 2 came out in 07, 08. Let me check real quick. Modern Warfare 2 original. Uh, Original. I gotta type that shit in now. That's fucking crazy. Okay. It came out in 2010. So I guess the game is 12 years old at this point. Or the initial release date was 09. So fuck, like 13 years. I guess what is the we need as a collective of gamers to come together and say what is the cutoff date or what is the date or the time frame rather for a remake. I Modern Warfare 2, we just had a remaster, right? No, okay. We didn't have a remaster. We had a remaster of Modern Warfare 1. First, they remastered the multiplayer, they remastered the campaigns and everything like that, and then they do a full-on remake of Modern Warfare 1. So we had like a remaster of the original, which they updated, put new models in there. I think they updated the engine as well. Um, and then we had a full-on remake, which like totally redid the story, but used some of the original characters. Had some of the same plot points, but not all the way. Uh, so I wonder in Modern Warfare 2, are they actually going to recreate the airport scene? That scene in Modern Warfare 2 was pretty fucking dramatic, and it kind of set the staple for what Modern Warfare 2 is. Everybody remembers when they where they were at. It's almost like a 9/11 type deal, right? For Modern Warfare fans, it was like, where were you at when you played, the fucking airport scene or whatever? And I wonder if they're still going to have that just due to the climate we're in right now, as far as like mass shootings and things of that nature. I don't know if they're going to have the balls to do it, but old Infinity Ward used to always push the envelope as far as that, which is now I believe Respawn Entertainment. But old IW used to pull that, put that out there, and now I don't think Infinity Ward has the guts to do it. I really don't. Um, and that's the fucking crazy part about remakes. I don't think people have the guts to do the shit that they used to do back in 2008. And you can say, oh, we're woke now, and a lot of shit we did get away with last, a lot of shit was offensive. And you know what? Fuck yes. I wholeheartedly agree with you. A lot of shit that we did in gaming and in media as a whole was probably offensive, was probably, whatever the case may be. But a lot of other shit did push the envelope as far as like writing and things of that nature. We weren't too concerned with like offending people and everything. And I'm not blaming like, bad writing on diversity and shit like that. I'm just saying like we used to be able to push the envelope a little bit more, and without with that with that like that restriction way like hanging above us, it's hard to push that envelope. I think a lot of people have that like just like a clamp on them where they can't write as much as they want to write. Or maybe if I was to go into writing now, I wonder how they teach writing now compared to how they taught writing 10 or 15 years from now. Because we're not like, I think of good when I think of really good fucking writing, right? And people think I'm gonna go to Mass Effect, and I don't think Mass Effect has the best writing, to be honest with you. I think StarCraft has the best writing. As far as a sci-fi adventure, like sci-fi game with like political intrigue and all that bullshit, uh like it was just really good fucking writing. They played on emotional, like one of the characters played on another emotional, the emotional state of another character. Like you don't see that shit. The last time you saw shit like that, I'll be honest with you, was Game of Thrones, like season 1 through 4. That was the last time I saw good writing like that. When I'm like, I was watching Game of Thrones, I'm like, bro, this could be fucking StarCraft because Kerrigan did the same fucking shit as Cersei was doing. Like it's crazy. Like Cersei can play Kerrigan, boom, like it's so good. So but getting back to like Modern Warfare, like I think Modern Warfare 2, like they have the iconic characters. They have like when fucking, I don't want to spoil it for people, the game's like fucking 11 years old or 13 years old now. So when a fucking Ghost died, right, and like you're playing as Roach and Ghost died and shit like that, like that was iconic, bro. Like you got shot by the general that you were helping, and then you did all this work, and then your character just fucking dies. Like people don't take those risks anymore to kill the main character that you've been building up. And I love stories like that. I love stories where they just kill off the main character. And then you have to go with someone else who kind of has to pick up the mantle. But you kind of been playing them a little bit, but you haven't. No other like games don't take those risks anymore, and that's what I'm afraid for in remakes. So I don't know. It's really crazy. So there's an old game called Flashback that's making a return. I never played this game. Apparently, it's a 30-year-old game. It's called Flashback 2. It's a side scroller game. It looks pretty cool. I'm not probably not going to pick it up. But it looks like they're trying to revive a really really old franchise or something of that nature, and I'm all for it. It's not a remake. It's part two. So you know, I stick by my shit. You know what I'm saying? So there's this other game called Witchfire, that's coming out, and it's a first person shooter. It looks like it's a first person Dark Souls esque shooter. It's not Dark Souls esque. It looks like, oh, you know what? It looks like Oblivion with fucking guns. Like a lot of people say that shit, right? It'd be like Fallout. No, it's like it looks like it's literally takes place in medieval times. You have spells you can cast with one hand, and then you shoot the gun with the other hand. So it looks really cool. It looks like Oblivion with fucking guns. It looks actually pretty cool. It's the Epic Store exclusive though, so GG's on you Steam fans. But it looks like it's a very old school shooter. It looks really fucking cool. Like I might pick this up on PC. It reminds me of like Doom but with magic, but less gory. So yeah, check that out. It's called Witchfire, like witch and then fire, like the fire or whatever, all one word. So let's see what we have here next. I keep losing stuff as my tabs and everything. It keeps going crazy. Boom, boom, boom. Let's see here. Da, da, da. Oh yeah. So we have another sci-fi thriller. Shouts out to sci-fi thrillers, man. I'm glad they're making a fucking comeback. Um, I just hope they don't get oversaturated, but I am glad they're making a comeback. I remember like back in the 90s and the early 2000s, we had a lot of sci-fi games and they just fucking died because everyone wanted to make modern warfare shit or they wanted to make, just uh dumb shit. So I'm glad sci-fi thrillers are back. And it looks like we have another one with Roger Clark, stars Roger Clark and Troy Baker. Um, and I don't really know too much about it. It wasn't really a gameplay trailer, so I don't know if it's going to be a first person game or looks like it's third person. I'm sorry, it looks like it's third person. And it looks like it's going to be one of those games where you don't really fight anything, you just run like a clock tower esque game, which is just really cool. But I am glad it's in third person. It is coming to Steam. I don't know if it's coming to consoles, but it is coming to Steam. And they haven't announced a release date for it though. But it's called Fort Solis. All right, so sorry about that. Looks like we had some technical difficulties. My mic USB cord fell out, so I had to replug it back in and do everything over again. But we're here, ready to go. So the last game we were talking about was Fort Solis, and like I said, that's another sci-fi thriller. The next game they showed is also another sci-fi thriller that looks like it's heading to It looks like it's heading to PC and Xbox, and it's called Routine. You're being chased by a robot. It looks like it's first person. It looks like it's going to be super fucking dark and scary. And I hope you guys can be able to check that out. Like I said, the last time we had I'm actually glad a lot of these sci-fi thrillers are coming out. And I don't want to say Metroid Dread started that trend, but it looks like a lot of developers are heading towards that because Metroid Dread was, if you want to be honest with you, a side-scrolling sci-fi thriller action game because that robot was fucking chasing you and that shit was scary. And that just goes to show you that you don't need blood, guts, and demons and even aliens to be scary. If you have a fucking bloodthirsty robot trying to chase you, that shit can be scary too. And I'm glad people are like kind of not even thinking outside the box. This is not a this is not something that's not familiar or not familiar with the sci-fi thing. This used to happen all the time in sci-fi, especially in like movies and things of that nature. We just don't need a giant fucking robot. You can have a giant we don't need a giant fucking alien or a monster or demon. You can have a robot which can be just as scary if you know how to pace the movie or game right and the writing is right. So the next game we have is called Stormgate, and it's a free-to-play RTS from the former Blizzard developers. They showed nothing but a cinematic for it. It looks like it's going to be another sci-fi esque futuristic game. Um, and it looks like you're fighting either demons or you're fighting aliens. I'm not too sure. It is going to be on I'm not sure if it's going to be on Steam or anything, but they said that there's no pay to win and no NFTs. There's a co-op campaign and a versus multiplayer, and a 3-on-3 and a 1-on-1. So I think there is a demo for it. No, there isn't a demo for it. So I thought there was, but there isn't. This is another game that they're showing in the same article, which I hate when they do that. Uh, but yeah, so it looks like there's going to be competitive ladders and things of that nature. Um, like I said, they said they want to have a free to play model that avoids the pay to win stuff. So who knows how they'll do that? And they said they're also going to be trying to include like a custom map editor that they had in the old Warcraft and Starcraft games. So we'll see. I think there is on Steam. So I think there are some like gameplay footage that you can probably find out there. They said that it should be coming back. The open beta is planned for 2023. So be on the lookout for that. Again, that game is called Stormgate, and it's a free to play RTS. And I'm pretty sure they can monetize it some ways. I know me and Justin we discussed how you can monetize an RTS. You can sell different skins for different types of units and things of that nature. Um, which is okay, and then which is not okay, because if you're playing a competitive setting, if you change the skin, let's say I'm just gonna say like a fire bat or whatever, how am I supposed to know that that's a fire bat on the field that the skin has changed? Like, so they'll have to keep the same silhouette of the skin, which a lot of companies do a good job at. Like, I don't have any issues when I'm like playing Apex Legends and I know I'm fighting the Octane, even though he has like, a crazy skin on him or something like that. So I don't have any doubt that they will do it, but I'm still holding my breath. I'm not going to hold my breath, rather, because even though it's former Blizzard developers, um, like I said, these spiritual successors and oh, this was made by the old guys and everything like that. Sometimes it can get a little wonky, and it can turn out really bad or really good. So let's see here. So the next game here, I'm sorry, excuse me. The next game here is called High Water, and that looks like it's going to be it's like an indie game, a small little indie game, but it looks like it's open world and has a lot going for it as far as that. It was made by Demagogue Studios and Rogue Games. Has like a cell shade, 3D cell shade art style, and it looks really cool. It looks like it's gonna be one of those laid back games you can play. Um, It looks like there's a flooded city and you may be having to save people or something of that nature. I'm not too sure yet, but it looks like it's going to get a PC. It's coming to PC and mobile in 2022, but there is a chance it may get ported to consoles later, depending on sales and things of that nature and popularity. Which that is a trend now. Uh, so some of the next couple of games they do that. They're going to be going to PC and mobile, and then maybe they'll come to console. Uh, So I do recommend. I'm gonna go a little bit faster here, but I do recommend you guys check out the recap. To me, this Summerfest was kind of underwhelming. They did show. I mean, Justin might like this. It did give me uh, what's that game called? Ah, shit. It was in my head. So this is a game called Marvel Midnight Sun. It's coming out, and it did give me vibes. It's a turn-based card game system. So a lot of people are very hesitant about that. They don't like that or whatever because they're like, "Oh, it's a free to play game or anything, something of that nature." And I think a card based RPG can be done without having pay to win mechanics. I mean, Baten Katos is a good example of that. Now they may not make a Baten Kratos, to be honest with you. They may not, but I can see the potential. I'm not sure if this is a free to play game, so let me look and see if that's a free to play game or not. It is being published by 2K, and the developer is for Axis. So take that how you want. It's going to be coming to PlayStation, PC, Xbox, and Nintendo Switch on October 7th. So it doesn't mention that it's free to play. So it may not be free to play. It may just be a straight up game. You unlock heroes and cards and stuff like that, and you play the game. I do recommend you check the gameplay out. It's not going to be for everyone, but it is turn based, and I think that's pretty cool. I think a lot of games are actually trying to go back to the turn-based mechanic now, and they threw some cards in there to switch up and make it look nice. So I mean, give it a shot. Check it out. I'm not against it. It's something. It's not something necessarily new, but it is something different that we haven't seen in a while. So I would say I'm all for it. The Goat Simulator also came out. Goat Simulator 3 rather is coming out, and it has co-op in it. I mean, there's nothing more else to say about that. Like game of the year already. What are you talking about? So this is the portion of the thing where I got kind of like weary or whatever. So I was kind of falling asleep. Actually, I was at work, so I was kind of watching this on the way home because I didn't catch it as it was live. because I didn't even know this was coming out today. Actually, to be honest with you, I didn't know this was the Summerfest was coming out today until I saw people tweeting about it on my timeline. And once I saw that, then I was like, oh, okay. So I am gonna go. I'm just gonna cover some of the good point, some of the big point highlights here. So we got another game that looks like it's being made from. It's a uh, Genshin Impact like game. It's called Zone Zero, Zenless Zone Zero, and it's from the creators of the uh Hoyo. It's from the creators of Hoyo, or it is the Hoyo people rather. That's the company, not the creators rather. uh, it looks really fucking cool. To be honest with you, so it's an action game, and you know I love character action games. So it's a character action game, but it's only coming to PC and mobile, which means it's going to be one of those Genshin Impact S games where you have to unlock the characters. It's a gotcha game. Um, there's a closed beta. There's an upcoming closed beta you can register for, but like I said, it's going to be like a Genshin Impact type thing. I believe they made Honkai Impact. Let me see. Made Honkai Impact. Blah 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 blah. Yeah. So actually, yeah, Mihoyo, rather. They made Genshin Impact, and they're making these other games as well. So this is going to be in the same universe. I'm not too sure as Honkai Impact. I think Honkai Impact. You guys understand know what that is. It's a mobile game, action mobile game, and you can unlock characters. Some of the characters had like one of the very first characters you unlock had like Bayonetta esque moves, but it's on mobile. But you can do some flashy shit. But like I said, it is kind of locked to mobile. Unfortunately, I think they released it on PC. Don't quote me on that. So also they also released another game while we're on the subject of Miyoyo. They also released another game called Honkai Star Rail, and that one is a turn-based game that you will unlock characters for. It's also coming to PC and mobile games. I personally, like I said, I'm personally not into this. I'm kind of out of the anime games and everything like that. I stick by my word what I said on Twitter. I got blasted for it. I don't fucking care. I think Twitter. Speaking of fucking anime, they also showed another fucking One Piece game. It's like a One Piece adventure fighter game or whatever. It looked fucking dumb because I hate One Piece. But it didn't like wow me. Like let me look at it again. Let me type in new One Piece game, and it should pop up. They literally just showed it. So it's called One Piece Odyssey. It's from Namco. The graphics look pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. Um, I don't know if it's a adventure. It looks like it's an adventure game, but you do travel with a party. Yeah, you do travel with a party, and I'm not sure if it's turn based or if it's an action game. So I haven't really seen any combat, but I'm assuming it's going to be like a turn based game because you are traveling with the party. So I think that's pretty cool that they are trying something new with with anime games. They figured like, oh, we can put them in fucking RPG things now instead of like the whole Ninja Storm thing that was happening and the fucking Jump Force esque thing that was happening. Um, I think that's pretty cool. Um, but yeah, still just an anime game. Yeah, so it is an RPG game. So I think it is a turn based RPG game that you use. So it's an RPG game. Maybe it's an action RPG or a turn-based RPG. They're not really showing too much gameplay for it, besides certain things, certain cinematic things. So I think the way they're showing it and the way that the action that they're showing is happening, you know how certain Japanese RPGs have those super cool uber attacks and they look really cool and they're doing all these super action stuff. I think that's what it is, though. I think it's a turn-based action or turn-based JRPG, and I think that's cool. Oh, excuse me. I think the last game that came out with something like that that was based off a licensed art anime was Fairy Tale. I think it was either Fairy Tale or Black Clover. I always get those confused. I always get Fairy Tale, Black Clover, and there's another one that's kind of almost the same as that franchise. I get mixed up. But uh I'm just like, oh, I think here's where I stand with anime games, and I already mentioned it before. Anime gamers and sports gamers are the same people. They're just on two different sides. They're on uh two different sides of the same coin. Uh, and then when you get a game that tries something different, like Scarlet Nexus, that was like an original IP, and then they had an anime that released on the side of it as well. That had actual game mechanics, and you had to get to know your party to unlock certain moves. And it was a character action game, by the way. Even though it kind of marketed itself as an action JRPG, it was a character action game. You did have three party members with you, but you can also like do psychic powers and stuff like that because you use this is a whole thing with like you're in a you're in a cyberpunk world, and you guys are brain linked or whatever with your team, and you can do certain moves once get really close to them and do certain side missions for them and everything like that. You can get close to them, learn different things about them and everything like that, and open and unlock moves and stuff like that. Get them gifts and everything. Uh, but that game, for some whatever reason, is not popular with like anime communities at all. I have no idea why, and I think this is gonna be like, don't take this as a fact, but I think it's because anime gamers suck at playing video games, and the game is not very demanding, but it can be very demanding if you play it at some of the higher difficulties, and if you want to unlock and do certain moves, like you want to do Devil May Cry esque moves and stuff like that. It can get to that level and it can get very fucking fun. And I just think a lot of anime gamers they don't really like playing video games that require skill. And I'm not just talking about One Piece, man. I think all anime games have less skill. Like I can't believe I saw somebody in the lab or in training mode for the fucking new Demon Slayer game or the last Demon Slayer game that came out. And I know I'm gonna get a lot of shit for that, but it's like I'm tired of the Ninja Storm S games. Like that shit was cool back in like 2000 fucking 10 or some shit. Like, bro, let's like evolve. But we are getting JRPGs now, which is I think is cool. But I don't know. I guess there's only so much you can do with an IP, you know, an anime game based off an IP, the existing IP or whatever. Because then we get games like Code Vein, which is like Dark Souls, but with anime slapped onto it. Then you get games like God Eater, right? And before people give me shit, I still think God Eater was like a cash grab of the Monster Hunter franchise. I think it just slapped anime on it, and people ate it. I just don't think anime games are really good anymore. Like they used to like they maybe they haven't never been good, to be honest with you. Anime games based off existing IPs, even though God Eater and Code Vein started off as video games. Um, I just think they slap that aesthetic on there, and then game design goes out the fucking window. Like we don't even fucking know what we're doing with this shit. It used to be cool because you used to get games like I consider anime. I still consider like Star Ocean an anime game. I still consider like Kingdom Hearts an anime game to a certain extent. Jesus Christ was a big ass spider, but I still consider that to anime game to a certain extent. Uh, so I don't know. Final Fantasy, maybe I don't want to call that an anime game. It's a JRPG, but like, okay, Persona, right? Persona is one of those anime games. It's a JRPG first, but it's an anime game as well. Dot Hack. Even though I hate Dot Hack GU, I don't like Dot Hack GU. Um, I like the original Dot Hack. I think that was a really cool anime game. So you got these Honkai impacts, and you got these Star Rails, and you got these Genshin impacts, which are cool to me. But then like they package it around a gotcha system, and I understand they need to get their money, but I think Genshin Impact. Well, you know what? It doesn't matter what I think. Genshin Impacts makes like $2 billion a year, some crazy shit like that. So to me, like it doesn't matter if I don't think it's game of the year. A lot of other people still think it's game of the year. It's a gotcha game. I don't think like the story's good, but it just to me that gotcha element really, really like turns me off of it. It really turns me off of like playing the game, trying to get deep into the game's mechanics, learning, doing combos, doing crazy combos so I can make a mad combo video, whatever the case may be. It just really turns me off. So I don't know. So Warframe has another expansion coming through. Warframe is going hard, man. Like, holy fucking shit, bro. Shouts out to the Warframe community and the developers, man. Like, Destiny, eat your fucking heart out. Cause like fucking Warframe, bro. They out here. They doing their thing. I can't even hold it up. They out here doing their thing. They still make great content. I barely hear controversy when content comes out for them. Maybe if they do a system change, you get some controversy or whatever. But besides that, man, they really do their thing. And that game goes strong. It stays true to the community, and people still come back. It's not. I tried to play the game, and it's kind of like everywhere. If that makes any sense, there isn't a sense of direction for me. To me, when I play the game. Like when I play Destiny 2, though, there's still a sense of direction. There's still a sense of like, what to do when I'm playing a mission or whatever. Um, or on a level. It just feel like Warframe. I don't get that same feeling. I don't know why. And I know I can be completely wrong. I am completely wrong because a lot of people love that game, love that story, uh, love the mission structure and everything of that nature. So Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is coming out. Uh, It's going to be a classic game. It's one of the classic beat 'em up games, and I'm looking forward to this game. I can't wait till the shit drops. This is going to be crazy. You can play up to 6 players on screen at once. It's going to be fucking crazy as fuck, and I'm for it. I love beat 'em up games. I love that they're making a comeback. I wish the younger generation could experience beat 'em up games. Um, go play Street Fighter 4 or Street Fighter. Sorry, Streets of Rage 4 rather. There's some other beat 'em up games like Scott Pilgrim versus the World they just released. That's a great beat 'em up game actually. I think they did releases of some Double Dragons and stuff like that. And there's some other newer indie beat 'em up games out there that y'all should go play because I think it's a really underrated franchise or underrated genre of gaming that kind of went into the you know cusp of things or whatever when like arcade gaming died and even like 2D console gaming died. I think they never really transitioned well into 2D into 3D. They tried to do it once with Bouncer. Bouncers are beat 'em up. Go kill yourselves. Uh, Bouncer, Fighting Force. That was a beat 'em up, and those were actually successful. Well, Bouncer was like sort of kind of successful. It wasn't a good game. We all have fond memories of that game because the game's graphics were good at the time. So we're like, oh my God, this game's amazing. That game's actually trash. It's actually fucking trash. I tried to go back and play it. It's actually trash. 100% trash. Nomura got us again, y'all. Yep. Y'all ain't think about that? Nomura designed the fucking characters in the Bouncer game. The main character looks like fucking Sora, y'all. Go check it out. Nomura's got us again, though. Uh, but moving on, there's another game called Nightingale, which blends survival and card crafting in a fantasy gaslit world. I don't know. They use a lot of buzzwords there. Woo, like what the fuck? Like just tell us what it is. So it's a first person game. It does look like a survival game. And it does look like it's in like a medieval like world. I don't want to say medieval. It does look like it's a magical world though. And you will have to hunt and everything like that. It looks pretty cool. It looks pretty different. You have to travel to different realms and craft cards and stuff like that, and fight the people, fight the creatures there, and everything of that nature. So, um, if you like survival games, you're looking for something fucking different. I think this would be a good hit. It looks like it's coming to PC and Steam in the Epic's Game Store. I said PC, Steam, and Epic Game Store, which is all on PC. It's coming to PC with via Steam and Epic Game Store late 2022, which is weird because we're already, in my opinion, are late 2022. I guess we're mid 2022 rather, but whatever. So next on here, Warframe. You guys get another fucking game. I'm so fucking jealous of Warhammer. I said Warframe. Warhammer fans. You guys get another fucking game. It looks like it's going to be another horde style co-op game. Yeah, it looks like it's another horde style co-op game, um, akin to Vermintide, but this time it's going to be set in like a more futuristic side of Warframe instead of like the medieval side of Warframe. So it looks like you're either like a maybe you're on the Marine side of things, the Space Marines. Uh, and like I said, it's called Warhammer 40,000 Dark Tide. Uh, and that's coming to the Xbox Series X and PC. It looks like it might be just an Xbox Series X PC exclusive. Looks like it's gonna get released on September 13th of this year. So look out for that. Um, yeah, like I said, like a horde style game. I don't know if there's gonna be unlockables or anything like that, but it does look really fucking good. It looks like a Vermintide too, but better. I'm probably not gonna buy it because I didn't like Vermintide, but maybe I'll like this game. Um, but if you guys like those type of horror style co-op games, I recommend you check this out because it is coming out. And if you're a Warhammer fan, um, check that out as well. But Warhammer fans keep getting shit. Y'all just keep getting shit, man. As a Mass Effect fan, I am super fucking jealous. Um, and as a fucking Star Trek fan, I'm super jealous. As a fucking Star Wars fan, I'm super jealous. Y'all just keep getting fucking content. Either your games hit or y'all miss. And even when the games miss, y'all just don't fucking stop. They just don't stop. They just keep making shit. GameWorks just keep going with it. They just keep like we're gonna get a hit one day. So it looks like another game is coming out. Looks like Humankind, Cultures of Latin America DLC. I don't know what game this is for. Or maybe this is the game. Okay, it's called the Humankind Heritage Edition. On console will include a digital game, Cultures of Latin America, Cultures of Africa, and the Notre Dame pack. So I never heard of this game at all, but it looks like it's a maybe a civilization esque game. I don't know. I haven't really seen the gameplay of it. I have to look it up. Yeah, look, be on the lookout for that. What else here? What else do we got here? Boom, 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 boom. Oh, so Saints Row is releasing a boss factory. Will let you craft your own boss. You can start doing that today. I don't know where you can do it at, but you can go ahead and start crafting your own boss and stuff like that. Uh, yeah, so you can do it on the. Oh, so you do it at Epic's Game Store. You can craft your own boss. You can download it and then uh craft the boss, and then I think they'll put it in the game or something of that nature. That's really cool. They're trying to be really wacky. I think so. My problem with Saints Row is I think they really lost the idea of what Saints Row was. Saints Row, yes, in my opinion, was like a GTA clone, but it was more wacky and more out there. But it still held true to what it was. You can control gangs and everything. You had like the green, and the purple gang. You had the purple gang and everything like that. And I don't know. I think around Saints Row 3, maybe. Yeah, Saints Row 3 and then definitely Saints Row 4. It just lost itself and it tried too hard to be different. And I think it just lost its identity. It lost what Saints Row is. I haven't played Saints Row since Saints Row 2. Um, and I know that, like I said, it's always been wacky, crazy stuff. But to me, Saints Row is one of those games that probably just needs to be put on ice. Like the other fucking game, Crackdown. Crackdown was really cool from when it came out, but it just needed to be put on ice. Like the game's not good. Uh, it just hasn't translated well into modern gaming. Modern gaming. I don't know why I said that, but it is modern gaming to like current gen stuff like that. Um, I don't know, guys. I just don't think that's what it is. And then we have another horror game coming out, called Layers of Fear, which looks like it's trying to capture a new way of playing playing horror games. It's going to be coming on Steam. So this is from the same people who made uh After Blair Witch and The Medium. The Blooper team is returning to the Layers of Fear with a psychedelic horror game. It's going to be in the Unreal Engine 5. That's why it looks so fucking cool. And it looks like it's going to try to freak you out. So I kind of can't wait to play this game. Um, which is like I said, which I was discussing with Justin. Like, I can play horror games, but I cannot watch horror movies. I can play even spiritual horror games. I can play that shit. But I cannot watch that shit. I don't know, maybe because I know it's a game and I'm controlling the fate of the character. It doesn't really affect me as much. But I'm watching like a horror movie or something, especially if it's like a really good horror movie. Like I'm fucking jumpy at the end of the fucking movie, yo. I'm a little bitch, and I don't know, man. That shit is crazy. I'm a grown ass man. That shit is crazy to me, but it is what it is. So yeah, that was all the stuff they did show. They showed Gotham Knights. I skipped over that for a reason. I mean, it's Gotham fucking Knights, what you expect. And they showed another game. Oh, they showed a teaser for Last of Us Part One remake. And this is where like we how many remakes I mentioned today? Like you know what I'm saying? Like major releases that are coming up are remakes. And I'm trying to think of it as for both things. And I know DJ put in the group text, like, you know, they're remaking the game and they're putting new mechanics. They're probably going to put the Last of Us 2 mechanics in there, which is underrated. No one, that game, no one talks about the mechanics in that game. That game has some really good third person shooter mechanics, like extremely well. It's crazy. Um, the shit that you can do, the different options you have to take out enemies and things of that nature. Different ways you can do it, different ways you can control Ellie and Abby and everything of that nature. And it will be interesting to see how they do that in Last of Us One. Damn, I'm kind of getting excited now because we get to use Joel in that aspect. I'm hoping they don't really mess with the story though. I think that story is key. They can't really mess with that story. They can't try to mess with the story to make it, you know, fit in with the HBO kind of like, you know, vibes and everything of that nature. I don't really want them to do that. Maybe they can elaborate on some stuff more. But I don't know. I'm still under like The Last of Us, especially part one, is still new to me. Like maybe because I didn't play it until 4 years, 3 or 4 years after the PlayStation 4 came out and they released, you know, the remaster edition for PlayStation 4. So maybe that's why it's still new in my hands, in my fucking head. Um, I do recognize that the game is 10 years old, 9 or 10 years old at this point, or maybe even older than that. Let me see when the Last of Us One came out. Blah, 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 blah. Plus one, yeah, 2013. So it hasn't even been a full decade yet, and the game's already out. Um, they're already doing a remake of it. I don't see why. I think Modern Warfare 2 has a bigger justification for a remake over The Last of Us 1. If someone was saying to me, Last of Us 1 or Modern Warfare 2 remake, you had to choose one or you're going to get shot in the head, I'm choosing Modern Warfare 2 to do the remake. Even with Resident Evil 4, that remake, I'm not too keen on that. The Resident Evil 3 remake was okay. It was a short game. The original game was short. I think they could have added more content to the remake to make it more fleshed out, but they didn't. Um, and I'm really scared for what they're gonna do with the Resident Evil 4 remake. I'm just really scared of these remakes because what are they remaking? Like these are classic games that you're remaking. I think sometime those classic games need to stay where they at. Um, but then you get games that are like iconic that needs a remake, right? That needs to be experienced by a newer generation. And Final Fantasy VII is one of those games. Uh, I still think the older generation, like you was like, oh well, you know, the newer generation of gamers, like the 21-year-olds, and blah, 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 they didn't experience this. And you know what? You're right. But I guarantee you, if you're 21 or 22 now, you play the original Modern Warfare 2, guaranteed, or you play World at War, I guarantee you played fucking Last of Us. So what generation is this like being remade for? Because they played this game. You know what I'm saying? Like they played it. And it's like, oh, well, 16 and 17-year-olds. And it's like, okay, that's a decent argument. Like I can definitely see the 16 and 17-year-olds playing this game. They weren't old enough to play the original Last of Us one. They weren't. They weren't. They were like 5 or 6 or whatever. Uh but I don't think the original Last of Us is that old where you can't go back and play it. I think it's readily available. Um, there could be an argument for Modern Warfare 2. Like you're like 6 or 7 or whatever when that game fucking came out, or I don't even know. You weren't even born probably if you're like a teenager right now. If you're like 16 or 17, um, you weren't even you were barely able to play video games at that point, I guess. So I guess that makes sense to remaster it. But it just I don't know. When people say like, okay, we're remastering like, the original Sonic game, or not the original Sonic games, but we're remastering like Final Fantasy 7, or if they were to do a Chrono Trigger remaster or something like that. Um I think that would be more justified. I think super old games like that, those like even when they remastered Resident Evil 2, that's a super old game. That game came out in like 1998, maybe not even that. I think it came out in 1996. Let me look at when Resident Evil 2 came out. Uh, Resident Evil 2 original 1998. I was right. All right, so it came out in 1998. I mean, that's kind of a long time. So I mean, that's 24 years ago. So yeah, that that is long ago. And did I say Final Fantasy 7 came out 20 years ago? 20 years ago? That shit came out 30 years ago, I think. Hold on. No, that was 25 years ago. Came out 25 years ago. Fuck, I'm old. But yeah. But Chrono Trigger, that game's old as fuck. Let me see when Chrono Trigger came out. No, not fucking Chrono Cross. Even though they just remastered that game. Um, that came out in 1990. They didn't remake it. They remastered it. I don't think it sold well, so I don't think we're gonna get a Chrono Trigger remake. They just should have just made fucking Chrono Trigger remake. I don't know. They should just did that. But let's see when Chrono Trigger came out. 1990 fucking 5. So old ass game, y'all. Old ass fucking game. I mean, yeah, old ass game. 27 years ago. So it did get re-released on the DS, which is funny. I think it did come to mobile as well. Maybe not. But I think games like for my criteria, 20 years or older is cool. I don't think that's a bad time to remake a game. I think if it's 20 years, you are missing a whole generation of kids, like 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds who haven't played the fucking game. 8 years, 9 years, now we pushing it. What's next? 5 years? Kingdom Hearts 3 just came out, guys. Remake. We're gonna remake the Kingdom Hearts 3. And you're like, bro, that game just came out like 5 years ago. Bro, what are you talking about? Well, I mean, like I'm saying in the future. So if it was like 2024, 2025, or whatever, they're like, it game came out just 5 years, 6 years ago, bro. What are you talking about, bro? Like, what are you talking about, bro? But I don't know. I think we need to slow down on the remakes. Like, just slow the fuck down. On remakes and stuff like that. Also, I have one more point. I know I've been going for a while, but I do have one more point. Um, I don't know if I'm like the anti-hype machine or the hype machine. Now I don't know if it's my bias, but can y'all answer this question? And y'all can like tweet me. My Twitter is I trap for the Hokage on Twitter. That's number 4, not the word. So I trap for the Hokage, and please at me and answer my question. How can people like Gotham Knights? They look at Gotham Knights. It probably has a bigger budget than Sonic Frontiers, and say that is a legitimately good game. But then on the other side, I see people shitting on Sonic. I really, and that game looks amazing to me. Even in the fucking rough stages of the game, it looks amazing. And maybe because I'm biased, but Gotham Knights just doesn't look good to me. The TV show and the video game. Oh God! Don't even get me started on TV show. That is a money laundering scheme through and through. Can't convince me otherwise. I'm probably going to get shot or something like that because later, like, yo, you're CW's like you're exposing our money laundering scheme. We're fucking selling crack and and shit, and we're trying to money launder this shit through, bro. That shit look ass, just like the fucking video game. Nightwing looks so even the trailer they showed, right? Even the trailer they showed, uh, Nightwing looks so fucking stiff, bro. Like, what is this game, bro? Like, this is not a real game, in my opinion. Like, I don't know. But I'm gonna close off here. I've been talking long enough. I went long as fuck. Actually, I didn't plan on going this fucking long. So if you did like the show, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Uh, you can actually subscribe to it on, I believe, Spotify. So we are on all fucking podcast apps: Spotify, Google, Stitcher. Sorry, I was looking. Light just came on. Why? Probably my cats. But yeah, we're on Google, Apple, Stitcher, uh, everything. You get your favorite podcast app of choice. Try to find us there. We release, like I said, at 6 a.m. on Fridays. You can also reach us at the Players Take on Twitter, all one word on Twitter, and Players Take 01 at gmail.com. Ask questions, or you can answer my questionnaire as well, about Sonic Frontiers that I just asked about Sonic fucking Frontiers and Gotham Knights. And maybe I'm not seeing it. Maybe I'm not fucking seeing it. Don't text me. If you are my friend, don't text me. At me, bro. Uh, and speaking of Twitter, like I said, you can reach me at iTraffordOkage. That's number 4, not the word. And you can reach Justin at Thundernut01 on Twitter. Thank you guys. Oh, you can also, if you guys want to game with me, I do want to game with some of y'all. Not all of y'all. It's like, no, I'm just playing. I don't care. So my gamer tag on Xbox is HM01 or HM02 rather. HM02. So like Pokemon Fly. But you actually have to spell out 0. And it's actually the same on League of Legends. It's different on PlayStation. So it's Trail Mix 223. So like my name Trell and then Mix 223. Yeah, and if you guys want the game, just hit me up there. I don't really play my Switch anymore. That shit's collecting dust. I'm not playing Monster Hunter on the Switch anymore. Can't do it ever since I played it on PC. So yeah, hit me up and bye guys. Hope you guys have a great day.